Today is October 21st, 2018, and I attended the 5 p.m. Mass at St. Francis of Assisi. The church was really fantastical to me when I entered, as the altar had a huge mosaic design and lots of gold, ornate, intricate pieces that made up a bigger picture. I thought this attention to detail and visual and sensory-based appeal really carried throughout the Mass. The Mass was really focused on the music and did feel somewhat like a production to me. The choir was very expressive and entertaining and inviting to all, which was really comforting. Along with this comforting feel of the music, the people were also very kind. The priest asked us to welcome each other, and people from both pews in front and behind me were saying hello and smiling at each other for a little while. In the same way, when we all said peace be with you, these wishes spanned throughout many aisles in either directions as well. I felt like I was at a play for a lot of the Mass, almost like I was seeing Wicked. I would say that the music was almost gospel or pop just because it was so expressive and unique. It was unlike any other Catholic Mass that I've ever attended. The music was really captivating, communal, loud, and vibrant. It was really the focal point of the Mass, and it felt as though all the readings were almost supplemental to the music, especially since there were no full readings at the Mass, only a few lines being read of the passages that were being shared. This was really interesting to me, as I feel like often the music is there to accompany the readings, but today I felt like it was the opposite, and I really enjoyed the switch. It was really refreshing. The fact that we didn't have any books with us and the full readings were not listed, if we wanted to follow along for the few lines or see what the whole passage actually was that wasn't being fully read, it added to the more performance-like feel of the Mass. Something I really enjoyed about the music at this Mass was the harmonies and the way that the full choir would have moments where they were highlighted during songs and there was no music playing at all below them, not even a sustained note. These moments were where I saw that this church really takes pride in their singers and in their captivating talent. The only thing that I would say was a little bit of a negative for me was the fact that the music distracted from my worshiping a little bit. After sitting down for communion, I usually pray for my family and friends, and at this Mass I didn't realize that I didn't even pray for anything just because I was completely swept up in the music. And I think that in that way the music took away from the Mass, just from the actual words and the message of the meaning, just because it was a little bit overpowering. Something that felt a little weird about this was how many times the church did ask for money during this 1-hour service. One of the priests who was not leading the Mass made an announcement at the end asking for donations for the actual church and spoke about the maintenance issues that kept popping up. He spoke about the goal being to raise $1 million and that the church was already at $800,000. And then he also told the congregation that the church was allowed to keep 74% of the money that they collected and that the other 26% went to the archdiocese. This combined with the fact that I was almost hit in the face literally twice with the donation box, since they came around twice asking for donations, it was a little bit off-putting. And lastly, there was a sign right when I walked into the church that suggested how worshipers should budget their income to include the church. And I thought that was a little aggressive, just putting that right in the front of the church when you walk in. I think that the feel should be a little bit more inviting. Although I was greeted by a woman who was very kind, just that poster was right in the front of the church. So I thought about it for a little while, and I'm still not quite sure how I feel about the focus of the money, just because I think that a lot of the time I come to church when I need help with my issues and need some clarity or guidance. So I'm wondering why it felt so strange when the church was struggling with a problem that they reached out to me. So that's just something that I'm